Good afternoon. My name is Victor Eze and I'm here to defend my project. So I have here with me my other device so I can see the prompt carefully. So the first thing I was asked to talk about is understanding the virtual assistant's role. So what's VX to me? Well, the role of a virtual assistant is very technical, first of all, and same time very dynamic. So what does that mean? It means that a virtual assistant has a lot of roles to play in a business or a company or an enterprise. But some of the basic things involved is understanding your clients, who you are working with or who you are working for, right? And there are some basic skills that are necessary to have. Some of them are soft skills, some of them are technical skills, right? Virtual assistant is just being able to help, assist, support what an enterprise, a business, online, virtual, right? With your skills, your skills. Talking about you being able to work with Google Space, Microsoft Office, all these software and applications, right? So my understanding of virtual assistants is that you are like a partner, kind of a partner, right? You're working with someone, but you are working virtually, assisting the organization or the company in achieving their success. So you're helping what organizing, the emails, you help in research, internet research, you help in bookings, a lot of things. It depends on the services you are required to offer. So the second prompt here is talking about what makes a strong virtual assistant. Very good. What makes you a strong virtual assistant? Number one is what? The ability to understand. And understanding has a lot to do with listening, paying attention. I mean to say, when you're able to listen, you can pay attention. So you have a strong mindset. During the course we taught about, grit and mindset, the passion. So what makes you strong? It's your mindset. You understand? Your mindset. And your mindset is a mindset that is able to learn, that is teachable. Because the truth is that different companies have different regulations and different dynamics in which they operate. So you might work with a particular company or particular organization with a particular strategy. It does not mean that that same strategy can be used in a different organization. You have to be open-minded. You have to listen. You have to learn. So what makes you strong is the ability to listen, to learn, and that has to do with your mindset. You understand? Skills are great. Skills are good. Tools are great. Being able to use these tools, having the skills, the knowledge. But all these things are underneath your ability to listen, to learn, and to carry out responsibility. The third prompt is your personal virtual assistant strength. Well, my personal strength is that I have an open mind. Right? I love to learn. I'm open, and I'm open to correction. So I believe that these attributes aids virtual assistant, right? Because I might be working with an organization and I don't know how their policy works. Even after learning them theory, I don't know how to put them into practice. But with my kind of mindset, I'm willing to learn, I'm willing to upgrade, I'm willing to listen. I can be able to find my way around that space. Then the fourth prompt is your growth areas. My growth areas, I understand how to use Google Space, Google Tools. I understand how to use Microsoft Office. I understand how to use Canva. I understand how to do internet research, right? I understand this aspect, these tools. I know how to function with some of them. And that is why I registered with ALX, so I can have better understanding, foundational understanding regarding these tools. Then the fifth prompt is mindset, grit, and professional growth. We talked about that. We said mindset. Now, discussing about mindset, we have two types of mindset. I learned that from ALX. Talking about the mindset of category of people who are not moving forward. They don't move forward. So they are comfortable with what they understand and they are uncomfortable with what they don't understand. So they are not willing to learn, and that's a very bad mindset. And we have a mindset of people who have a mindset of I can do this. It's like nevertheless, I can make this thing happen. I can do this. Even if you are challenged, even if you are, you are facing something you've not done before, but being able to think that, okay, what's the way around this? How can I make this happen? That's a good mindset. Then the third one is a grit, right? Grit simply talks about your passion. And the truth is that when there is no passion, it can be possible, right? Passion has to move you. Your commitment, your sacrifices have to be driven by what? Passion. You have to be passionate about it. If you want to make success, you have to be passionate about it. If you want to become great, if you want to be successful in your as a VS, you have to be what? You have to be what? Passionate. That is your grit. Then the last prompt is your VA journey ahead. Well, I have a big vision. I have a big understanding. One of the things I learned from VA through the videos is that virtual assistants is just a stepping stone. It can be, don't let me say it's just a stepping stone. It can be a stepping stone to what career paths, and it can be your own career path. But as for me, I have a big mindset. I have a broad mindset. I'm willing to deploy all the potentials I have in me. So my own paths, my paths is that it's a stepping stone for me to other careers that I'm going to venture into. But this is a stepping stone. Thank you very much. My name is Victor Chibueze.